Hello, my name is Marianna Simeone, and I am the representative of Quebec here in Italy. I'm so glad you could join us today for what I hope will be a very stimulating talk on Quebec and its cultural diplomacy. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our hosts, the Festival della Diplomazia, and its founder, Giorgio Bartolomucci, for giving us this great opportunity to showcase our action on the world stage and to share our experience, which is a truly unique example of diplomacy conducted by a federated state, namely Quebec. We could not miss this edition of the festival because during this very same week, Quebec is celebrating its 55th anniversary here in Italy. 55 years building trusted and close relationships with this marvelous country. 55 years where culture was at the forefront of this relationship building. Now, throughout the years, Quebec artists and Quebec creators have been increasingly present in Italy, performing in the country's major festivals. So why is Quebec investing so much in deploying its artists worldwide? What is the vision behind this strategy, and how does culture build and strengthen diplomatic ties? We have the opportunity to discuss these questions with two of Quebec's leading authorities in the field. Joining me for this discussion is the CEO of the Conseil des Arts et des Lettres du Québec, Madame Anne-Marie Jean. Bienvenue, Madame Jean, merci d'être avec nous.
Bonjour, je suis là avec plaisir. Merci de l'invitation.
As well, we welcome the CEO of the Montreal Symphony Orchestra, Mrs. Madeleine Careau. Bienvenue, Madame Careau.
Merci, thank you very much to welcome me.
So I would like to begin this exchange with Madame Jean from the Conseil des Arts et des Lettres du Québec. This institution really plays a pivotal role in the development of Quebec culture and has contributed to the role, really, and to the success of Quebec artists and creators, both back home and internationally. So, Mrs. Jean, please explain to our audience the role of the Conseil des Arts et des Lettres du Québec.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Simeone, and hello, everybody. Le Conseil is a government agency under the authority of the Minister of Culture and Communications. It was created in 1994 following the adoption of the first cultural policy of Quebec. Our mandate is to support arts throughout Quebec, creation, production, dissemination in all disciplines of performing arts, visual arts, literature, architectural research, cinema and video, everything. We support also the broadening of the influence of artists, writers, and organizations and their work in Quebec, in Canada, and abroad. Our organization is governed by a board of 15 members appointed by the government. We have a team of 75 people spread equally in two offices, one in Quebec City, our capital, and one in Montreal, Quebec's cultural metropolis. We use peer assessment in our decision process, and we can count on 350 members of juries and committees to do this yearly. We're now midterm of our strategic plan 1822. Rest assured, I won't go through the whole plan, but I just want to emphasize on two of its very important orientations. The first one is to reinforce artistic careers and artistic organizations. And the second one is to disseminate at the largest public possible on all territories, including the web, with the objective to reinforce the strategic presence of the Quebec's cultural productions on the international scene. We have a budget always around $137 million, of which 94% goes to program support. So around $129 million, of which 10% goes to artist grants, and the rest goes to artistic organizations. We also have a program for First Nations and Inuit artists and organizations, a program for cultural diversity artists and organizations, and we support international presence in 66 countries yearly. And to do so, we invest about $10 million to support 800 presences yearly.
That's very impressive. That is very impressive. And I can speak for all the wonderful projects that we see unfolding in Italy and how you have supported these artists. It really is marvelous. So speak to us. I'd like to hear, what is your take on cultural diplomacy? Because your actions abroad are so important.
Yes, cultural diplomacy has developed rapidly in Quebec, actually at approximately at the same pace as Quebec society was undergoing major changes in the 60s. The government of the time made a very important statement saying that the responsibilities of a province would extend to the international level. And this statement has been the foundation of all governments since then to develop Quebec's international policy. And among these responsibilities, culture is a very major asset for Quebec. So we all know it's very much alive. It's been influenced over the years and by the different waves of immigration, and still is, of which there were many Italians in the first waves of immigration. And now we have people coming from all over the world to enrich our culture. And our cultural diplomacy has always been halfway through increasing Quebec's international influence and at the same time developing markets for its cultural sector. For example, when Quebec invests a new territory, like, for example, in the recent years, Senegal and Morocco, we came in discussion with cultural authorities locally, and we've developed what we usually develop when we first enter into a territory, an exchange, a residency, so that Quebec artists could go to Senegal and we can host a Senegal artist in Quebec. And at the same time, on more mature markets, we support the presence of several artistic organizations and artists in major festivals, as you said earlier, biennales. We all know that we're very present in Venice, Edinburgh, Avignon. Since our population is 8 million, it is obligatory that our artists go abroad to meet other artists, but also for obvious economic reasons. So we have, to support the international action, we have mobility programs for artists and organizations so they can accept the important invitations they receive from festivals like Roma Europa, Milan Oltre, Torino Danza. But also we support the traveling of the artists individually when they go on tour. They were present, for example, in Ferrari, Bolzano. Many names like Robert Lepage, Marie Chouinard are well known to the Italian. So, and recently, one of a good example of exchange is that we sent a large delegation of presenters to NID, the dance platform in Reggio, and in return, we hosted in Montreal at Parcours Danse a large delegation of Italian art presenters. So we're now starting to have a great network for dance exchange. We also have a very impressive network of studios and exchange residences. We offer actually 40 possibilities in 20 countries for artists. We have one of the Quebec studios is in Rome, but we also have an agreement with the British School at Rome. And we just recently, last week, we signed a new partnership with Bassano for a new dance residency. And we support art organizations in Quebec, art presenters in Quebec, so that they can invite artists that come from abroad. So festivals and large venues have invited over the years many artists from all over the world, Italians also. And we count on our representations on the territories abroad. They do help our artists and organizations when they're present on the territory to meet their peers and select and find opportunities and eventually develop new projects with their partners. So we try to ensure a very steady presence on the international level so that the creators can promote their work, but also that they can tell our story to the world.
Yes. And I can tell you that we are delighted to support the work that you do here and to help our artists. And we see how the exchange is so important. You touched upon it at the very beginning. It is really so important, so much so in culture. Now I'd like to bring Mrs. Madeleine Careau into the conversation. Mrs. Careau heads an organization that truly exemplifies cultural diplomacy. The Orchestra Symphonique de Montreal has a fabulous reputation on the world stage. Now, since the 60s, the orchestra has completed 50 international tours, presenting close to 400 different programs, as you can see right here on the screen. The orchestra has performed in the most prestigious concert venues in Europe, in Japan, in the US, and Latin America. Mrs. Careau, do tell us, please, how has the orchestra built such a standing, and what has been your strategy and your vision over the long term?
First of all, we can say thank you very much to welcome me. We can say that a reputation of an orchestra stands mainly on the quality of its musicians. This is how we start. And also, our personality is quite particular because people like to say about the Montreal Symphony Orchestra that we are a happy mixture between North American traditions and also European traditions. So this is why the OSM over the years has done a reputation over the world, because we are quite unique on that kind of personality. Our musicians come from everywhere in the world, or in Montreal from many cultural society organizations. So how do we stand a reputation like that? For sure, with the help of government. Madame Jean and Conseil des Arts du Québec are very helpful for the OSM for our mission, but also we keep and we continue to keep very good relationships with great conductors, great soloists that come to Montreal, and this allows the OSM to deepen its relationship with the world. When those musicians, those conductors go back to their country and to other symphony or music organizations, they talk about us. And also, we could say that a large orchestra like the OSM, it's a part of our mission. If we have good musicians, and we do have good musicians, they choose Montreal because, you know, the great musicians of the world, they choose where they go to play. And they choose Montreal because we have this international career, because we go all over the world, and it allows them to perform in front of prestigious audiences. And year after year, we maintain very good relationships with great halls, great cities. So we are invited year after year in Europe, Berlin, Paris, Madrid, Vienna, whoever, and also South America. As you said, we did also 10 tours in Japan. We went to China. We went to South America many times. So we travel over the world, and we keep on all year long relationships with those concert halls, with those concert organizers. So we stay in their mind, and they continue to invite us. Also, we did, as you said, maybe more of 106 recordings over the years, which is a lot of recordings for a symphony orchestra. We're not Berlin, but it's a big it's a big number of recordings. Those recordings has been famous all over the world. They won international prizes everywhere. So all this keep the reputation of the OSM over the world.
Ladies, I'd like to ask this question to both of you because, you know, we are living trying times. We're going to speak about this period for a long, long time, but we're still right in the thick of things, right? So I'd like to know how your organization has been coping with this health crisis, and I'd like to start with Madame Jean.
Yes, well, at the very first stage of this crisis, our preoccupation was to help all the artists that were present around the world to come back home. So we did that first thing. But the second thing and the main thing was for us to protect our ecosystem. It was very important to help them go through this crisis because we've invested so much. Everybody, the population, the artists have invested so much. So we made sure to secure the financing of the organizations that we support. We sent them a comfort letter. We sent them their payments in advance. We increased the support that we allow them every year. And we also, while doing that, we also worked on a larger plan to help all the organizations and the artists go through the many months to come. So we developed two measures that were implemented very rapidly in the summer to help present artists to present their work in very unusual venues. Musicians were presenting concerts in front of old people's residences. At first, they were doing it for free, but we decided that they should be paid. We feel they should be paid to do that, so we developed that measure and put it in place very quickly. We also had a measure to help them be present on the web, and for the same reason, because we wanted them to be retributed for their work on the web. We also increased the artist grants budget, and we're now going to be implementing a new measure to support the presenters for the losses that they incur because of the sanitary restrictions. But finally, but not least, what we've done is we're now preparing our next intervention for the companies that rely on their international presence, of which they're based on export. We're going to be helping them for that. And also, we're in touch with all our international partners to make sure that we can maintain and renew our agreements so that we're ready when this pandemic is over to continue the work that where we were at. So
thank you. Yes, and Madame Careau, how has the OSM been working out during this very difficult period?
And first of all, we've been able to work it out because of what Madame Jean just said, because of the tremendous help of Quebec government, Conseil des Arts et des Lettres du Québec. Without that, I'm not sure we could go through, because, you know, having a staff of 92 musicians and also employees, how can you survive without any revenues? Because overnight, all the revenues fell. So we decided, as Madame Jean said, to be active, and we said, okay, let's go and be agile and go to our public, the audience, which normally doesn't come to Maison Symphonique. So old people, residencies, it was very moving. Some of them, when we went to perform in front of their residencies, went out and they said, we didn't go out since March. It's the first time we hear music live for a month. And we also perform in parks everywhere. So we touch base with our audience. And then after that, we decided to associate ourselves to the multitude of festivals that are in Montreal and that transform themselves also. So we contribute to the Circus Festival, we contribute to the Literature Festival, playing music behind comedians reading text, playing music behind artists doing circus. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. And then we were allowed to come back on stage with a very few people, 250 in the audience. We came back on stage, we taped our concerts. Fortunately, we had decided to tape them because overnight, once again, not one person in the audience. So fortunately, we had the equipment to put it on the web. So we put web concerts weekly. We had thousands and thousands of viewers. So we kept the link with our audience. And this is how we've been surviving. Money from government and very creative from my team to be everywhere.
And lots of agility, lots of resilience, and lots of imagination. Just what you described, where the orchestra was out during the year, that's marvelous. I wish to thank you both for having taken the time to share with us your views and your passion. And I would also like to extend our very best wishes to you, to your teams, your artists, everyone back home. And we hope to see you very soon in person. And Mrs. Careau has a treat for us. It is a concert by the Orchestre Symphonique de Montréal, recorded last month at the Maison Symphonique de Montréal on the occasion of the 200th anniversary of the birth of Beethoven. It is Beethoven's 6th symphony, conducted by Bernard Labadie, for our viewing and listening pleasure.
It's a wonderful, music brings peace and joy, and I hope it will for you.
Well, thank you. I think we need it. Thank you again. Merci, Madame Jean. Merci, Madame Careau. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. And we leave you with this masterpiece of the OSM. Thank you again and have a wonderful festival.
Thank you.